The status of Spider-Man 3 has been in flux for a little while now, as the disagreement between Sony and Marvel threw everything about the sequel in doubt. Fortunately, fan outcry and that lovely chap Tom Holland, who forced those pesky executives to reach a new agreement, resulted in Sony and Marvel Studios uniting once more to produce a third Spider-Man movie slated to hit theaters July 16th, 2021. But the fact of the matter is, we still have no idea what Spider-Man 3 is going to look like. Sure, there's that cliffhanger from Far From Home, but not much else to go on. Naturally then, rumours and theories in regards to what could happen in Spidey's third adventure have been doing the rounds, and in all honesty, some of them are completely mad. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 11 huge Spider-Man 3 rumours that would change everything. Number 11, Mysterio is still alive. As we all know, Far From Home ended with a fabricated video provided to J. Jonah Jameson which wrongly portrayed Spider-Man, or specifically Peter Parker, as the murderer of Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. Naturally, this prompted a ton of theories and rumours in regards to what the third film's plot may be, most of which attempt to look at how Peter will get out of this mess. However, one of the more intriguing options suggests that Mysterio isn't actually dead. After all, the character is a master of illusion who, somehow even in death, managed to frame Peter for his murder. But why would he do that to someone he genuinely liked when the battle is already over? Unless, you know, the battle isn't over. If Mysterio were alive all along, it would change the face of the sequel altogether, as the story would be less about clearing Peter's name than it would be about him dealing with some unfinished business. And if this is the case, it could even pave the way for the introduction of the long-rumoured Sinister Six. Number 10, the Chameleon will further destroy Spider-Man's reputation. One rumour that has everyone intrigued comes from Mikey Sutton, who has reportedly been correct about a number of Marvel-related issues in the past, including the Fox-Marvel deal back in 2015. Also revealed on the Lords of the Longbox YouTube channel, Sutton claims that the main villain of Spider-Man 3 will be none other than Dmitry Smerdakov, otherwise known as the Chameleon. Apparently, the film will carry on from the cliffhanger ending of Far From Home, and the Chameleon, being the master of disguise that he is in the comics, would use Peter's own identity to further the damage done to Spidey's reputation by Mysterio. A battle of identities would certainly be a compelling foundation for the film, as it would, in many ways, serve as the perfect conclusion to the Sony Spider-Man trilogy. Number 9, Ned will become the Hobgoblin. Ned Leeds is, without a doubt, one of the best aspects of the last two Spider-Man movies. His unapologetically nerdy bond with Peter Parker is one of the MCU's most endearing friendships, and Jacob Batalon's effortless ability to make audiences laugh is second to none. However, according to one rumour, Spidey's third offering could see a rather, well, dark but comic-accurate fate befall Peter's best friend. Yes, as We Got This Covered theorized, there is a chance that Ned might up becoming the treacherous Hobgoblin in Spider-Man 3. Ned has been the primary source of both Homecoming and Far From Home's lightheartedness and humour, so the idea of him becoming a villain seems a bit too far removed from what we know, and perhaps too big of a risk on Sony and Marvel's part. Still though, the thought of it is really quite something, and there are plenty of rumours claiming that Spider-Man 3 will be much darker than its predecessors. Number 8, the Fantastic Four will finally make their debut. Ever since Spider-Man Far From Home's trailer revealed the rebuilt Stark Tower, fans have been excited over the identity of the individual that purchased it. While one theory suggests that a certain Spidey villain could be behind the purchase, which we'll get to later, another suggests that the tower could now become the Baxter Building. One rumor theorizes that Marvel Studios' eventual 5th Avengers film will adapt Secret Wars. This comes from Mikey Sutton too, and suggests that Reed Richards will be introduced as the new Tony Stark-like mentor for Peter, which will of course lead to the introduction of the Fantastic Four. And should Spider-Man 3 be chosen to introduce these characters, it will forever be remembered as a film that made MCU history. Number 7, the film will feature another major Avenger. Both of the past two Spider-Man movies have relied rather heavily on an Avenger, or at least a character associated with the Avengers, to play something of a mentor role to Peter Parker. Coming from We Got This Covered again, this one claims that Spider-Man 3 will feature another of Earth's mightiest heroes, and that it is likely between Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, or Doctor Strange. This would change everything, sure, but annoyingly most of the outcomes there would only succeed in changing changing everything back to the way it was previously. I mean, wasn't the whole point of Far From Home that Peter became his own hero by finally honouring Tony's memory? So while it would no doubt be awesome to see him team up with Carol Danvers or Stephen Strange once again, both of whom he had great scenes with in both Infinity War and Endgame, isn't it time for him to carry his own movie instead of relying on another major hero? Number 6, Venom will appear. There have been so many long-standing rumours that Venom will appear in a future Spider-Man film at some point that it's beginning to feel a bit like an inevitability at this point. Sony technically owns the rights to both characters, but since they have sole control over Venom and have agreed to share Spidey with Marvel, the possibility of this ever happening has been up for extensive debate for quite a long time. However, Venom director Ruben Fleischer is convinced that a crossover between the two has always been the long-term plan, telling fandom, quote, "That's where it's all going to lead, and that's the exciting thing because we changed the origin of Venom. In the comics, he evolved from Spider-Man, but because of the Marvel-Sony thing, we weren't able to do that. And so the thing I think it's building towards and will be exciting to see is when they actually do confront each other," end quote. And to be fair, not doing this is leaving money on the table, but let's hope they do it well. For as much as I love Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, the world doesn't need another one, trust me. Number 5, it introduces a live-action Spider-Verse. For quite some time now, we've all fantasized about the idea of Marvel introducing the multiverse. According to one rumor reported by Cosmic Book News, Tom Holland's Wallcrawler will cross paths with both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in a future movie, bringing all of them together for one big collective multiverse for what is referred to as Spider-Man's Secret Wars. Spider-Man Far From Home toyed with our emotions by centering its entire marketing campaign around the existence of the multiverse, only to pull a bait and switch by revealing that it was all one of Mysterio's tricks. But with the MCU breaking new ground and the impending arrival of the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the concept does seem like it's imminent. And hey, all I'm saying is that now Sam Raimi is directing the Multiverse of Madness, wouldn't it be awesome to get his version of Spider-Man back as well? Even if only for a bit, come on, a guy can dream. Number 4, Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock will be Peter's lawyer. The mere thought of this rumor is one that certainly gives me the old goosebumps simply because of how game-changing it would be, not to mention how logical a theory it actually is. But yes, again, according to sources close to We Got This Covered, the powers that be at Marvel Studios hope to use Spider-Man 3 to introduce Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. After the jaw-dropping end of Far From Home, New York's Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man is going to need a damn good lawyer to represent him, and because he can't get Saul Goodman, who's the next best thing? You're right, it's Matt Murdock. Unfortunately, this one has since all but been quashed, as the more likely option for Peter's representation is rumoured to be Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. Still though, a Spider-Man Daredevil team-up would be game-changing, and I'd love to see it, even if it's probably not gonna happen. Number 3, Kraven will be the villain. Another one from the never-ending treadmill of MCU, Sony's Marvel Universe crossover rumors, but it seems to be an increasingly popular belief that Kraven the Hunter will serve as the next film's main antagonist. Like the Venom character, if this were true, it would completely turn things around because it would be an official acknowledgement of Sony's Venomverse in an MCU film. How? Well, because Sony are due to produce a standalone Kraven film, akin to Venom, that is reportedly inspired by Kraven's Last Hunt. And just on a more general note, it would mark the character's live-action debut, something fans have been eager to see for a long time. Homecoming and Far From Home director John Watts has revealed that he'd love to use Kraven in a third Spider-Man film, so with the help of Sony, could he make that a reality? Hunting down a former hero whose identity is known to the world sounds like something a bounty hunter like Kraven might be interested in as well, so the plot would certainly call for it, especially if it's inspired by The Last Hunt. Number 2, Norman Osborn will make his MCU debut. As mentioned, the purchase of Stark Tower has been a point of intrigue over the past few years, as the powers that be have yet to reveal who actually owns the building, and with Spidey sticking around for some time now, we might finally get the answers we're so desperately looking for. While I've already looked at the possibility of a Fantastic Four debut, there have also been rumors that Norman Osborn is actually in the slow process of turning Stark Tower into Oscorp, and that in order to truly really take over the city in the way that he wants to, he needs Spider-Man out of the way. Hell, some suggest that he was the one behind the J. Jonah Jameson debacle, while others believe he'll be the one to put the bounty on Peter's head, initializing Kraven's barbaric hunt. But the fact of the matter is that the arrival of Osborn could change the face of the MCU entirely, perhaps even paving the way for the arrival of the Green Goblin. Number 1. Spider-Man will leave the MCU. Fans threw up their arms and rejoiced when Sony and Marvel revealed that they'd worked things out last year. However, there was one piece of information in that announcement that has spawned a lot of rumours in regards to Spidey's long-term future. See, that's because the new deal struck between both companies stipulates that the Spider-Man character will indeed headline the third film in the MCU's Homecoming franchise, and will also be allowed to appear in one other Marvel movie, which many have speculated to be the 5th Avengers. Naturally though, we're all wondering what the hell happens after those two appearances take place. With that in mind, rumours have suggested that Marvel Studios will now use the time that they have with Peter to attempt to phase the hero out of the MCU altogether, so that they won't have to deal with last-minute shocks in regards to his future like they did over last summer. This would also allow Sony to utilize the character in their separate shared universe if they do plan on going in that direction. If this is indeed the case, then it's left fans concerned for Peter's future, because at the end of the day, you can't just write Spider-Man out. So, could he end up following in his mentor's footsteps and sacrificing himself in the fight against some great evil? I have no idea. However, there has been talk of him being replaced in the MCU with another Spider-Man, most likely Miles Morales, so maybe that's the only way to set up his departure. So that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you guys looking forward to Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man 3? And what do you think the future holds for everyone's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Either way, while you're down there, can you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Trust me, it's all juicy, good content. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. You have no idea how many times I messed up this ending.